Now, see, you thought I was going to hit you with the normal intro. That's not happening. Not this time. Or is it? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. I've had an intro like this before, where we kind of went in with a somber tone. Made it act like the series was dying. That was like 5 to 6 episodes ago. Yet the series is still alive. For now. For this episode. Because this time, the funeral is real. This isn't a soap opera where someone's going to wake up at the funeral and be like, I'm alive after all. No, this is it. This is the final episode of Rebuilding Hockeytown. It was long. It has long since been rebuilt. But we have a team that may just be able to get the job done here in this final season. We may just be able to go out on the top of the mountain as champions once again. We shall see. And I suppose I'll just say it for the hell of it because it is the last episode. What's up, guys? Toogie here, back again. This is Rebuilding Hockeytown. There you go. Happy now? Good. All right. The somber mood and tone is out the door. Not Jose out the door, or Josie out the door. It's out the door. It's all about the positivity and the optimism that this series will end the way that it should. This series will end with the Detroit Red Wings raising the Stanley Cup for the 6th time? 6th, I think? Again, with both teams, NHL and AHL level, we have had, I think, at least 5 cups each. So, yeah, it's been quite a series. Granted, we did kind of, sort of cheat for one of those cups. So, if it's 5 cups, we'll say it's actually 4. If it's 6 cups, we'll say it's actually 5. You get the point. It's fine. It's fine. So let's get this season sim underway. This will probably be the longest part of this episode in general, of this finale even. That's right. I said it. I finally said the words finale. I'm not like, oh, we might be ending this series. I think it's over. No, this is it. The finale of Rebuilding Hockeytown. And again, hopefully, we can go out on top of the NHL world, but on top of the hockey world. What am I talking about? Why do I care about the scouting? We don't have another draft to worry about. We really don't have to worry about it. So it's good. It's fine. We'll be fine. We'll see what happens. Now, typically, with the finale, and when you have nothing but time to kill while you sim through the season, you kind of look back on, hey, man, this part of the series was interesting. We had all the success. Remember this player, remember that player. But considering I have been trying to end this series for a month now, numerous times we have sat here and talked about this series and what's happened in the past. So I don't know if it's necessarily needed for me to sit here and talk about all of these great players. I don't really think it's necessary. However, I will say, before NHL 18 comes out, there will be a video, in which case, in which we will be talking about some of the memorable players from this series and others. A little retrospective on the year that was NHL 17. So, yeah, we're going to save not exactly the sappy moments, because it's a video game. I mean, I was about to say, no, oh, hold on, never mind. I was about to say, who's going to get emotional over a video game? Yeah, we've had some moments in this series. Like, we have had some moments in this series, haven't we? We have had some incredible amount of heartbreak, which hopefully we can avoid this year. It's been like 5 years straight of making the playoffs and blowing it in the playoffs. So maybe, just maybe, we can get this to work out well, and we can end this series on an absolute high note, which, I mean, so far, so good. I don't know if we're going to win 50 or 60 games like we've done in the past couple of seasons, but Grand Rapids might. What is that, 16, 4-2 or whatever? It's blurred. I can't read anyway. Reading? Who reads? I don't know. Who? Why? I'm rambling about reading. I'm rambling about reading because I have nothing else to talk about, except for the fact that we just beat Vancouver 9-1. 9-1. I will actually stop the sim here as we shut out Carolina 5-0. Let me take a look at the team just to see if everyone's happy. We do have 84 locker room chemistry, which is a very good sign. But let's take a look here. Zeeler, 28 points, 27 for Boleries. Mainly I care about ice time and whether or not people are complaining, which does not appear to be the case, which is very, very helpful. Sweet. We'll take a look at point totals later. It's fine. And then on defense, is anybody complaining? No. Wow, people are extremely happy with their ice time for once. Well, isn't that a welcome change? I suppose the one player that could be complaining is Hovland, which isn't happening yet. So that's good. He's actually happy with his ice time. And Boyer's up to a 94 overall. Again, by the end of this year, he'll be 25, and at that point, he's really not going to get much better. So it does look like Boyer's max potential is a 94 and 95 overall, which for a high franchise, you'd really like to see a 97 and up. But them's the breaks. I mean, it's not like I'm going to complain about a 94 overall goalie. So we're good. No complaints at the moment. Just wait until we get to the playoffs. Then the complaints will start happening. It's fine. It is fine. And now it's not fine, as he's only out for like a month. But still, we lose Dustin Evans for a bit. Who can we call up in return? We got DeRocher, Grachev. DeRocher is well-rounded. The puck skills category sucks. Grachev, probably a bit better offensively. And then Tursenbaev's a defenseman, so we don't really have to worry about that. What about Leo and Rudy, our Germans? Our Germans, and defensively they're a bit weak. I mean, DeRocher's definitely a pure sniper. We will give him the opportunity here. Let's give him the chance. So really quickly, how do I... You know what? I'm just going to have him play in the... on that top line role, in the top six, and we'll swap him and Pody. So, yeah, that's looking all right. That's looking all right. Pody's the first-line guy anyway, but again, we've been able to keep him happy with certain, power play and special teams time. In general, God, what the hell, AHL, right. Danton Heinen, Vancouver Canucks legend. And if you didn't watch that Vancouver series, again, it's almost 2 years old now, but if you didn't watch it, what's the matter with you? What's wrong with you? You should have watched it. Legendary series, and to be honest, I mean, we might be talking about that Vancouver series very quickly. We just won another game by the score of 9-1. Holy hell. Wow, how does that happen? 2 9-1 victories just over a week apart? Ridiculous. And then we lost 3-1 a week later in Madison Square Garden. Nice. Cool. That's fine. But again, 23 wins now in the season. Grand Rapids almost at 20. They hit 20. It's perfect. We're looking good. We are looking good in our final season. And here's the deal. Here's the deal. As far as what this episode is, I was still trying to decide. Even as I'm sitting here, I'm still trying to decide, do I want to see who's in the draft? I don't think I'll blue ball people and be like, no, we're not looking at the draft. Oh, God. That was awful. I think we'll still look at who's in the draft. But, again, no matter who it is, you could be at 85 overall starting with high franchise potential. You are not, we are not continuing this series, and you will not see that player progress. But for the moment, we're good. Evans is not 100%. We'll sim to this game against the Pittsburgh Penguins to see if he is. And I'll be intrigued to see how DeRocher did on the second line. But there we go. Dustin Evans is back. Both teams are looking half decent. Still in first place in the division, just ahead of pretty much everybody else. It's a really close race so far in the Atlantic, but we only have one of the wild card spots. But 2 games shy of the halfway mark. How did DeRocher do? 9 points. Stefan DeRocher. Take a bow, son. Not too bad. 9 points in 11 games. He had 15 points in 25 games down in the AHL on the fourth line. I am impressed. Stefan DeRocher, way to go, buddy. Way to rise to the occasion, but unfortunately for you, Dustin Evans is back, and that spot is his, no matter what you do. Although, you know, you could argue maybe sending down somebody else, but oh boy, we would lose him on waivers. I mean, I don't want to lose him on waivers, but we kind of have to. I mean, unless I get rid of somebody else, I could send down Miura or trade him. No, we're not getting rid of Miura. I mean, he's medium top 9 potential, so DeRocher, I mean, I'm just going to have you sit there, to be honest, because I don't want to lose you. I don't dare risk losing you on waivers, so you are going to sit there for a while, and you will be, you'll be our healthy scratch. It's fine. It is fine. Anyway, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Oh my god. That was a bit rough. Man, I don't know what's going on. All stuffy, I'm sneezing. I better not be getting sick. You watch. Launch of NHL 17, massive internet issues. Launch of NHL 18, I'm going to be sick as a dog, right? Because I just can't catch a break. That's I mean, glass half empty, right? always looking forward to the worst happening instead of, you know, maybe having that little bit of optimism, but there's only so much optimism to go around, especially when players keep getting injured, and I know we're going to fall short in the playoffs like we typically do. So with Beach injured, who the hell are we going to call up? I think it's going to be Tursunbayev. I think that was his name. As our first call-up. Go to defenseman. In the system, Tursunbayev, without a doubt, is our best call-up option at the moment. So let's do it. Let's go. Let's get him on this team. Mikhail Tursunbayev. Now, the good thing is we can just put him on the third pairing with Bolig, and we shouldn't be that much worse off, really. The only thing is they're both righties. Bolig has a better shot, so we'll do that. It's fine. And who will get into the lineup because we took him out? I have no idea. I don't know. Jansen or Labrie? Medium top 6, 23 years old. Medium top 6, 23 years old. Right. Let's go with the better overall then, I suppose. That's the best way to handle it. Sweet. Moving on. Moving forward, let's go. We've almost hit the All-Star break, which is great. We'll see what we can do. 29 wins now. I mean, our pace has slowed down a little bit. Again, I don't think we're going to hit 50 wins this year. But maybe that's a good thing. Because every time we, you know, get to that win total, we always fall short. So that's, yeah, optimism, man. Optimism at its finest. Beach, if you could go ahead and not get hurt, that would be great. We'll see what happens, though. And, okay, Kaminsky will get hurt instead. No, that's cool. No worries. No worries. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take Beach out for Tursunbayev, and then we will replace Kaminsky with Beach. So our defense, you know, I mean, it's not looking too great right now, aside from Sylvan. Of course, we were in rebuilding territory. I mean, our, you know, forward lines are okay, not as great as they've been in the past. It's mainly the goaltending that we have to rely on, and to be honest, they're both underperforming a little bit, which, that'd be nice. I mean, I guess it's not, I mean, that would explain why we're, you know, we're kind of settling back down a little bit and not winning every game or every other game by the score of 9-1. But, once again, if they can, you know, kind of get their game going, we might be able to actually do some damage this year. And if they don't, well, then shit. We're a little bit screwed, aren't we? I mean, if we can't win a cup with a 94 and a 90 overall goalie as our tandem, then I give up. Like that's where I wave the white flag. But we have won, what's that, 5 games in a row? Can we make it 6 against the Bruins? We cannot. We lost 5-1. But with them, we rebound a little bit. against the Calgary Flames, up to 37 wins now. Not too bad. We might hit 50, actually. 7-2 win over Nashville. Halfway through February, we might hit that 50-win total, which would be pretty damn good. Now, trade deadline's coming up. And I've sat here while I've, been recording this and thinking, how do I want to approach it, right? We could easily go out and just burn all of our draft picks, trade all of our great prospects to get all these amazing players and, really make a run for it. But I do want to approach this season at, in a way as if we were actually continuing the series, which again, we're not. I don't want to be overly cheap about it, right? I mean, I don't know. Personally, I just don't find that to be much fun, or it's like, okay, it's the last season. Let's just trade everybody. So I do want to keep this team pretty much the same. Now is the right time to look at the stats, though. Chris Zeeler's an absolute beast. Boleris is doing well. Dustin Evans is doing well despite missing time. Pierre Castonguay, holy shit, almost 30 goals already this season. He has really stepped up. Oh, Jesus, man. We don't need to trade for anybody, at least forward-wise. Holy shit. 22 points for DeNicola. Peverly has 27 assists. Unreal. Lamb's doing well. The fourth line's doing well. So offensively, we're golden. We're fine. Defensively, I mean, Philip Simon, plus 40, 29 assists. Absolutely ridiculous. And Sylvan, also a plus 40. Eric Beach is a plus 26. What the fuck? I mean, Rudy Moran is doing all right. Of course, he's the enforcer turned defensive D-man. Ronald Bolig's doing all right. Tursunbayev, not so much. I mean, we could look for some better depth defensemen, just in case of injury. That's the one thing I'm willing to try and find and to make a move on here. Because we could use a better defensive D-man. So, give me 1 second. I don't know if I'm going to trade. I want to take a look at the free agent list. Just to see. That way I could send down Tursunbayev right now. Kind of doing what we did with, say, Hjalmarsson in the Manhattan Project. Filatov is the best option, and he's not that great. So, I would have to make a trade. I don't want to trade for anybody that would be requesting ice time. So, we are going to keep the team the same. Well, let's keep moving forward. And, the third pairing guys, they will continue to improve. I mean, simply put, at best, I find, like, Beach is an 82, and he's tearing it up. So I don't exactly need to go out and find an 83 just because he's 1 overall point better. It's occasionally tough to find 84 overalls that are, third pairing guys. And, yeah, it's just, I don't want to sit there and have to balance people with the penalty kill and power play time, because why bother? Right now, the way we have it set up, players are getting their proper amount of ice time, which is why someone like Morgan Pody, despite being a first-line guy, that's why he's extremely happy on the second line, and that's probably why our top 4 defensemen have as good of a plus-minus as they do, with the exception of Rudy Moran, is because they are getting that proper ice time. So, as you can see, oh shit, Kaminsky. Damn it, I forgot to put him back in. Well, shit. That could be a bad mistake. I could probably maybe recover. I completely missed it. And to be honest, I think he was healthy around the time that we stemmed past the Nashville game. But thankfully, he's not Brady Shea-esque. He was an 87, I think. He might have even just been an 86. So, he's cool. He's not being a dick. He's fine. I could hand him a letter too, if necessary. But for the most part, I think we're good. And actually, I did end up messing up the lines here. Let me go back. God damn it. Hold on a second, just because of the way I set this up. So, we need to take Kaminsky out again for Tursunbayev. We need to take Beach out for Kaminsky to get Kaminsky back onto all of his proper lines, and then swap Tursunbayev for Beach. There we go. Perfect. It's the little details that matter sometimes. But again, Beach is a plus 30. My God. Now, plus minus, of course, not the best stat, at least in real hockey. In real hockey, just I don't know what that was, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what that was. Trying to sound like, oh, but in the real sport, this is how it goes. You know, that kind of deal. That's not how I ended up saying it, though. So I don't know, man. You get the point. Plus minus, not the best stat in the world. One of the very few stats that you can actually kind of judge a player on in NHL. Hashtag give me advanced stats. Hashtag give Corsi a chance. That would, man, I just can't imagine the NHL series ever having a Corsi rating. I can't imagine. I mean, it'd probably be difficult to program. Let's be honest. It would probably be difficult to program. Maybe not tremendously difficult, but probably. I can't speak to game design and how difficult it is, but I'm just saying it would be cool to have a little bit more to go off of than just goals and plus minus, but that's okay. Anyway, we are God. Okay, thank God. He's not out for that long. He's not out for that long. We'll just put Tursunbayev in his spot for now. Actually, wait, it would have put a forward there. I just remembered I sent down Tursunbayev. All right, well, I probably just absolutely tanked that game. We are on 96 points. We do have a chance for 50 wins. Yeah, it put Stefan DeRocher there. That's not ideal now, is it? Again, I still can't send him down. I should be able to send him down, though, for the playoff run, which would be good. Let's call up Tursunbayev, and to be honest, I think I'll probably just leave Tursunbayev there. I mean, it'll make things a little bit easier. Kind of. Sort of. Oh, let's see. So Tursunbayev was the righty. Moran's another lefty. I forgot I had that many lefties. Moran does have a really good shot, though. Kaminsky. Simon has 9 goals. Kaminsky has 5. Let's put... God, what do we want to do here? Moran with Simon? Kaminsky with Bolig, Beach, and Tursunbayev. That's looking good. I do have to fix the AHL lines really quick, but that is okay. It's pretty obvious who we're going to put into the lineup. It is Janssen again, although we're going to swap him with Markstrom, who has made a little bit of progression. Let's go. As far as the playoffs go, we will probably go in-depth sim. We have 10 games left before the postseason is here. So, overall, I feel like we're making pretty damn good time in this episode. We'll get to the postseason. We'll look at the awards. We'll see who's in the draft. But then, guys, that is it. And again, as far as like this gigantic send-off for this team and this franchise, I mean, you know, we'll probably reminisce a little bit. But I do have a video planned, like I mentioned, that'll kind of be talking about NHL 17 and the franchise modes that we did in general. We'll be covering everything. Fuck it! I'm doing a Hall of Fame. Alright? There. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to have voting. And you guys are going to have, we're going to have the nominees list, and then we're going to have a vote for each player. And if they get a certain percentage of the vote, they go into the Hall of Fame as elite players in our series. So there you go. I've kept hinting towards that. That's what I'm doing. And then that way, we'll never forget the likes of Owen Tippett. And, I mean, Sylvan very well might make the Hall of Fame. So, you get the point. We have certain things planned. That way, and yeah, Jesus Phillips will probably make the Hall of Fame, even though he's only going to play probably 1 season with the Rangers. You get the point, though. You get the point. And the good thing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys decide the nominees as well. So what I'll do is I'll be like, hey, think back to even NHL 16. I'm going to say think back to the Vancouver series. And I mean, Essa Hall's pretty much a guarantee. Thatcher Demko is probably a guarantee. But I want to make up for the lack of NHL 16. And with NHL 17, I mean, you have the Columbus Series, Rebuilding Hockeytown, the Manhattan Project, the Blues Fantasy Draft Series, Nation United Sweden. We have Draft to Glory. We have a lot of possibilities when it comes to potential Hall of Famers from each series. So we will see what happens. But I'm intrigued to see how that goes. We have lost. Wow, we've been shut out for 3 straight games. We've been shut out for 3 straight games. Holy hell. Not the best way to head into the playoffs, I would say. Wow. Great time to start declining, I guess. I'd like to think we're still going to be the #1 overall team, unless we lose to Ottawa. We've been shut out for 4 straight games. Well, there goes the 50 wins. How have we lost at least 5 straight? How have we been shut out 4 straight? I've never seen that before. I have never seen that before. 4 straight shutout losses. We have been outscored 15-0 over the past 4 games. What the hell? And we have pissed away the division title. The Toronto Maple Leafs come out of nowhere to steal the division title. And, I mean, we're still pretty much good with the 2 seed. It's just a matter of, are we going to play Boston or Ottawa in the first round? And to be honest, I'd probably rather play Boston and not lose to Ottawa. So that's great. Goddamn Boston Bruins, man. Can we beat Montreal at least? Maybe. Hopefully. 6-5 overtime win. You know what? It works. Last game of the season against the Leafs, the division title winning Leafs, thanks to some pity points. But yeah, we are in the postseason as you would have expected. But yet again, we have thrown away a division title, which, I mean, I'm used to it at this point. We will be playing the Bruins in the first round. We finished 2 points back of Toronto, despite having 1 more win. We did have the 3 extra losses. We are 100%, I do believe. But Beach was complaining about ice time. I didn't miss that. Why are you complaining? He's a top 4 defenseman. That's why he's complaining. When did that happen? As an 83 overall, like I mentioned, it can be tough to find a top 6 guy who's an 84. We have an 83 guy who's a top 4 defenseman. Right. So, I mean, Rudy, I think, yeah, I mean, you have PK time. Yeah, Rudy's out. Okay, so we'll give Beach the power play time heading into the postseason, which works out relatively well, except we have, like, all lefties, but that's okay. That is okay. Yeah, power play's still looking pretty damn good. Let's take a look at the stats here, team-wise, while we have the opportunity. And actually, here, let's swap those 2 around, although the game would have done it for me. Here, you know what? We already know that we're playing the Bruins in round 1. Let's just hit advanced day and get there. Stop simulation. There you have it. We'll play the Bruins in round 1. Let's take a look at the stats, both for our team and league-wide, before getting in to the postseason. Our last postseason. Can we end this series on a magical run? Probably not. We're going to get swept in the first round, I would at least assume. So, league-wide, we finished with the tied for the 4th best record in the NHL with the Winnipeg Jets. They had quite a few overtime losses, goddamn. Let's see, goals for per game. We had the 2nd highest number. Only 2 teams averaged more than 3 goals per game, us and the Maple Leafs. And they beat us by a pretty damn big number. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but that's a pretty damn big difference. I mean, clearly, 14 goals. 14 extra goals is a lot. It really is. And we had, 12 extra over Anaheim? But still, averaging over 3 goals for per game. Goals against per game, we had the 3rd lowest number in the league, which, again, for our goaltending, you would hope for better. But with our struggles towards the end of the season, that really didn't help. Our power play at 18%. You can see us about mid-table there, maybe a little bit higher up than that. And the penalty kill at 83.6% was also mid-table. So, surprisingly, our special teams weren't that great. This is the first year in a while where we haven't had to rely on, having a weaker special teams to make sure everybody was happy. And it didn't really work out that well. And we have a 3-7 record heading into this postseason. So I'm a little bit less optimistic. Maybe looking at the player stats will cheer me up just a little bit. Sylvan led the team as a defenseman, 75 points in 79 games, 51 assists, 24 goals. Zeeler with 68 points, 21 goals, 47 assists. Bowler hit the 20-goal mark, 66 points. 62 for Ulf Johnson on the second line. Not too bad for him. 45 assists. Evans, 59 points in 71 games, hit 21 goals. 31 goals for Castonguay, 53 points in total. Pody only 44. Pretty disappointing for him, but he kind of seems like a Cole Lynn type. Like, offensively, good stats, but for some reason, he just struggles a bit. I don't know, it might be worth, changing him to a playmaker or a sniper. Simon, good old Simon, 43 points. Not too shabby. He was also a plus 46, the same as Sylvan. Peverley, 35 points, only 3 goals, but 32 assists. Tikhonov with 35 points, 30 for Lamb, 27 for DeNicola, 25 for Yakubov and Miura, and then Kaminsky and Ram with 19 points. Bolig with only 8 points. Beach with only 4 points. Pretty damn solid defenseman, though. Of course, to be honest, he shouldn't be on the power play. I should put him on the penalty kill instead. But, all right, we're looking good. Wow, Tursunbayev ended up playing 24 games and only had 1 point. The big question is the goaltending, which hasn't always been the most reliable, especially Dylan Boyer. It's looking like he's going to cap out at a 94 overall. He only had a .917 save percentage in 62 appearances. And what was that? A .918 for Hovland in 26 appearances. So the goaltending isn't what you would hope it to be. I mean, really, it's not. That is tremendously disappointing and very, very concerning. As you look at the wins leader for goalies, Dundas and Pittsburgh, 94 overall, 40 wins for the Pens. Van Kadishin, we never should have gotten rid of Harold Van Kadishin, ever. Dundas was good, Boyer was good. Harold Van Kadishin is a monster. We never should have gotten rid of him. What an awful mistake. And Jared McDonald, another mistake, not quite Van Kadishin level, but still, he turned into one hell of a strong goaltender for Toronto. And again, I think at the time we traded him because his value wasn't as high as you would expect an elite goalies to be. Boyer's there. Ian Scott is there. Still playing at 35 years old. I have no idea what button I just hit. I hit the AHL switch. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. But yeah, you get the point. Goaltending is concerning, especially when you consider the talent that we have gotten rid of throughout the course of this series. We've talked about that numerous times. And Harry Sloan is going to win the Calder. We just traded him at the start of the year. He was drafted by Chicago. We acquired him. We traded him back to Chicago. And with his 95 offensive awareness, I knew at the time trading someone with 95 offensive awareness could be a bit of a risk. He beat Castonguay by 10 points. Oh, God. Wow. Harry Sloan, 63-point season. That is concerning. Throughout the league, Eeli Tolvanen again led the league in points, 94 in total, 57 goals. How come you couldn't do that when we acquired you, buddy? And then Harold Wall, another former player of ours. 91 overall, 70 assists. Very clearly on that top line with Tolvanen. Brad Burrows, I don't think we ever had him in this series, thank God. Or we might have had Mikhail Vorobiev. I don't know. Nico Hischier, we definitely had. 78 points for him. Elias Anderson's up there. Trent Celios is up there. I basically handed Toronto their top line. Tolvanen, Wall, and Celios. I'm pretty sure I traded all three of them at the same time to Toronto. Christopher Burkhoff is another player of ours. I definitely recognize him as well. Holy shit. I mean, again, we've talked about this a million times. With the amount of talent we had in this series, the prospect factory, it was, like, you can't even call it a prospect factory. It was better than a prospect factory. We were going to have to get rid of some amazing players. Turns out we might not have made the right decisions, though, as far as who to get rid of in those moments. But really quickly, I need to take Beach off of the power play and put him onto the penalty kill units instead. So Rudy Moran might not be the best offensive defenseman. I mean, he's a defensive defenseman, as a matter of fact. I mean, I could put Ronald Bolig there, but nah, I mean, he has a good shot. We'll go with Moran. And then we'll take... Who do we want to take off the PK here? We'll take Simon off the penalty kill. And let's go with Beach instead. Alright, that looks good. Let's do this. I'm not going to waste any time. We are going to jump right into this. It is postseason time. Our final postseason has arrived. This is it. One way or another. This is the finale of rebuilding Hockeytown. Can we somehow find a way to walk away as champions, or will it be yet another early round playoff disappointment, as we have become fairly accustomed to in the past few seasons? 92, 89, and 90 for the ratings. Let's take a look at what we're up against in the form of the Boston Bruins. Can't imagine. I think they still have, what is it, Simpson? It is Simpson. They have Andrei Svechnikov, who was supposed to feature heavily in the series. They have Eric Simpson and Dean Rourke as the top line. Svechnikov still very capable. Simpson still pretty capable. And Dean Rourke as well might not be the best player on paper, but I'm sure he'll get 18,000 goals in this first game. Alvin Bartley on the second line. A fourth liner on the second line. Centered by Alex DeBrincat, and Eddie McBride is the right wing. A third liner on the second line. Holy shit. Third line, Paul Bittner. Paul Bittner on that third line with Shane Bowers, who's a second liner on the third line. All right. And Yuri Chistov is there, also a second liner on the third line. I am so confused. Fourth line is 77 overall, Clinton Coleman, with Oleg Vasunyov. Vasunyov. I'm going to go with Vasunyov. And Kalle Alfredson. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. We shouldn't lose to this team. No way. Center depth is fine, although Bowers and DeBrincat should absolutely be swapped, I would say. Although DeBrincat might be better offensively. We can't lose. We can't. Please, God, no. And the defense is decent, but not all that much better. You have Tyson Aronson on the top pairing with Cal Foote. Cal Foote's still a Bruin. Remember, it was Foote or Haig very early on in this series. We went with Haig. We were very successful with Haig. Cal Foote's still with the Bruins, though, after all these years. And we will see. We'll see if he can get a measure of revenge for us not drafting him. Second pairing, Urho Vakanainen. Of course, he was actually drafted by the Bruins in this series, which is pretty damn cool. Well before the real NHL draft happened. It had to have been, I think. Even though it's September and the draft was in June. Holy shit, time flies. Andy Festerling is also on the second pairing. Might be having a bit of a morale issue because he is a top four defenseman. And the third pairing is a center, Gary Sims, with Henry Holden. They have to have injuries. They have to. They don't, okay? They have Yuri Grachev and John Shipley as healthy scratches. So instead of calling up a defenseman, they have a really decent center playing defense with Coleman in their lineup instead. We can't lose to this team, can we? I know they finished third in the division. I don't know how. I didn't even look at their goaltenders because I know we're going to lose, and that scares me because we shouldn't. Like, seriously, we shouldn't. Oh, my God. View opponents. Who's the goaltender? Oh, my God, if we lose this series. 85 overall, Mikhail Prohorkin. And Philip Pascale. Oh, God, we're going to lose. We are going to lose. We are so much better than them on paper that we are going to just blow it. And I am not looking forward to that at all. What I do need to do really quickly, and I just remembered, let me send down those two players to the AHL to help bolster the Grand Rapids Griffins just a little bit for their playoff run as well. So Tursunbayev and DeRocher will send down. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's get them into the lineup. We'll take out Danton Heinen. And we will put in Stefan DeRocher and immediately boost him up. Top pairing? Grachev's really good, though. We'll go second pairing. Or second line for DeRocher. And then Janssen needs to be taken out for Tursunbayev. And then we'll swap him with Markstrom. Stasiak and McLean didn't do a whole hell of a lot, but that's okay. Anyway, let's do this. Let's get murdered by the Bruins. And then we'll go through the draft quickly, and that'll be a series. Unreal. Let's do this. We're going to go with the in-depth sim, but we are going to breeze through this relatively quickly. Game 1 in Detroit. First period. Should I just hit the B button now and just sit into the end of the game? Second period. We're down 3-1. We're down 3-1. Fuck it. Third period. We just lost 5-2 in game 1. 5-2 final in game 1. Right. Alright, let's try calendar simming then, shall we? Maybe that will work. Please, hopefully, maybe we'll sim game 2 from the calendar after losing 5-2 in game 1. Can we get the victory? We did! 4-1. Sweet. We're going to stick with the calendar sim until it doesn't work. So, game 3, we head to Boston. Brian Zajac goes down to a concussion. We'll just have the assistant coach replace the player. And we lost that game, too. The AHL regular season's over. The Griffins will play the Bakersfield Condors in the first round. We'll pay attention to that series because odds are we're going to have plenty of time to pay attention to that series very, very shortly. We're down 2-1 in this series. This is game 4 in Boston. First period. Evans with the opening goal. That's a good sign, but man, we have a long way to go. Second period. DeNicola makes 2-0. I'm just going to hit the A button, and if we lose, I'm going to cry very non-manly tears. Third period. Bowers gets a goal back, but thank God. Thank God we have won that game. And we have tied this series up at 2 games apiece. Right, we are alternating wins at the moment, which is a bit unfortunate. The Griffins have split the first 2 games of that series against Bakersfield. We will jump right into game number 5 here. Like I said, let's just breeze through this. No need to hype it up at this point. We've had so many postseason series, so many victories, so many championships, so many losses in the past few years. You know the deal by now. First period, not great. Second period, indifferent. Third period, we'll watch live. Come on. Please, we can do this. I believe. Thank you, Lamb. Thank you. Thank you, Lamb. Wow. 14 seconds apart. I'm glad somebody came to play. That's great. Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Mr. Lamb. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say because it'd be ridiculous. I'll just focus on the fact that Castonguay made it a 4-2 game. Svechnikov just got a goal back, though, and thankfully, oh my God, I thought they scored. Sylvan with the empty netter. 5-3 victory for the Red Wings in Game 5. And we are 1 win away, but I have a feeling it's not going to be that close. The Griffins lost Game 3. Their backs are against the wall. We're going to focus on the main team, though. Game 6, we have won the last 2. Let's see if we can close out this series here by some magical occurrence way, I don't know. First period is scoreless. Second period is not. Simon with 2 goals. Vasunyov gets a goal back. Vasunyov. I'm going to call him Ovi. You see what I did there? Third period. Let's go. Come on. Can we end this series right here, right now, Game 6? Let's not have this series go any longer than it should. To be fair, we probably should have swept them, given the level of talent difference. Kaminsky with the gigantic goal to make it 3-1. And I think we're going to be just fine. Indeed we are. So A little bit of a scare against the Bruins, but the Red Wings are moving on. Boyer has himself a decent game. Philip Simon with a 2-goal performance as a defenseman. And there you go. We are moving on. The question is, can the Griffins avoid being eliminated in the first round? No, they cannot. They won the first... No, they lost game 1, won game 2, and then lost the next 2. So the Griffins, unfortunately, despite the fact that, again, they have been easily the most successful team, successful AHL team, and just team in general that we've ever had, they won't be ending this series on a victory. Now, we have to play Toronto in the next round. They went to 7 games in their first round series. I'm not exactly looking forward to seeing this team. 96 offense, 89 defense, 94 goaltending. We know that they are going to have plenty of former Red Wings on this team. So this, oh God, this should be fun, right? There you go. Yeah, their top line is exactly what I thought it was. Made up of all former Red Wings. Eli Tolvanen, who had 14 points in 7 games. Oh my God, should I just quit now? 14 points in 7 games. Oh my God. Oh my God. Centered by Harold Wall. Again, another former player of ours who had 12 points in 7 games. And then Trent Celios, who was actually drafted by us first overall in 2027. That is their top line. A former Red Wings top line. Second line, you have Ulf Olas. As you get a look at his attributes, he had 8 points in the first round. Centered by Tyson Jost, as I think Emmy is having a nightmare, which is unfortunate and quite sad. But, you know, we'll just let her ride through the storm. She'll make it. And what do dogs dream of? Like, no, the treat's running away from me. What am I going to do? Anyway, Tyson Jost, second line center, good player. And Lee Gabo, 93 offensive awareness. Screw the attributes. Carl Grundstrom's on the third line. Colin White, yes, that Colin White that we added to the game. And Warren Ruedel. Fourth line is Giovanni Smith. Oh, God. Centered by Duke Skinner and Riley Elliott on the right-hand side. Do we have a better team than them on paper? Absolutely. Are we going to lose? Absolutely. Oh my God, that is the worst defensive core I have ever seen outside of Draft to Glory. Top pairing, 20-year-old medium top 4 defenseman Kelvin Ott. Good potential moving forward, for sure. With Artem Manulin, who is 35 years old at this point, and a top 6 defenseman. Second pairing is Joffrey Combs, 82 overall, alongside Corey Griffin. Oh, we're going to lose. And then Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson is with Gavin would it be Kerslake or Kerslaki? Kerslaki. Gavin Kerslaki. I'm going with Kerslaki. Kerslake. It could even be Kerslake. Damn. The goaltender is Jared McDonald, as we were well aware of. No injuries, 2 scratches, Dean Leach and William Nylander. We are going to get pooped on. And it's not going to be fun. It's not. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, maybe it's fun for you. For me and the Detroit Red Wings at the moment, not going to be a very fun time. Not at all. Anyway, for those playing Toogie Bingo at home, you can finally check the box that says scat reference. So there's that. Anyway, first period of game 1, Pierre Castonguay with the opening goal. Second period, we are tied. Zeeler, Grundstrom, and Skinner ended up tying it. We'll sim the third period. Again, tied at 2 goals apiece here in Game 1. They have a 4-on-3 power play that they couldn't do anything with. And thankfully, Morgan Pody gets that next goal, which might be pretty crucial. We are halfway through the third. We're looking all right. Power play for Toronto. Oh, Harold Wall. And there he is. Yeah. With the dagger. Just the knife straight to the heart. Ellie Tolvanen. Ellie Tolvanen. Toronto wins Game 1 by the score of 4-3 after we completely just pissed away that game, if we're being honest. I mean, just, that top line sank us again. I literally handed a division rival that top line because we had nowhere else to really trade them for fair value. And it's going to come back to haunt me in a tremendous way. I am going to calendar sim here. Maybe we'll find a little bit better luck for Game 2 from the calendar. And indeed we did. A 1-0 shutout victory. Not too shabby. Peverley was complaining about ice time. So let me take a look at the lines really quickly. Both series in the West, 2-0. Both series in the East, 1 goal apiece. So let's see. Is Peverley a second line guy? He is. That's stupid, because you shouldn't be. But we'll see if we can rectify the situation, and we'll do that by taking Rudy Moran off the power play? Maybe? Yeah, we'll see if he complains, whatever. Fuck it. Peverley, there you go. Peverley, you are good to go. Sweet. I am going to sim from the calendar here for this next game, because it worked for us in Game 2. So Game 3, let's see what happens, shall we? On home ice, at least. 6-5 victory in overtime. Well, I'm kind of glad that I wasn't simming that one live, because that would have been heart attack worthy. I'm going to keep going. Game 4 from the calendar. Again, we are finding success until now. Yep, there we go. 4-1 loss. I knew that I would have jinxed it. So we head to a crucial Game 5 in Toronto here in the second round. And we're going to sim this one live for the hell of it. Oh, this is going to go so poorly. I have no expectations. We're going to lose. The only expectation is that I have is that we are going to lose. First period of Game 5. I mean, it's not the worst. Not the best either. Johnson with 2 quick goals. Not too bad. But then Ott brings them back to within 1. Second period, that's much better. Beach, the defensive defenseman, with the goal. Now, last time we did end up blowing the lead in the third period, so I am just going to hit the A button here and hope for the best, and the best indeed happened. Pierre Castonguay seals it. 4-1 victory for the Wings in Game 5. We find ourselves in the exact same situation that we had in round 1. 2 opportunities to take care of our opponent here. We are on home ice for Game 6 against the Leafs. Let's go. Can we put down Ellie Tolvanen, Trent Celios, Harold Wall, and Jared McDonald, also known as the Detroit B team, here in Game 6? First period, that is a great start with Tikhonov getting the opening goal, the lone goal of the first period. Second period, that's all right. Zeeler and Colin White getting them back to within 1. We have the lead heading into the third. Now we did choke before, and we might choke again. Oh, yeah, here it comes. Okay, nope, that's... Boulerice ties it, thankfully. Freaking White and Gabo, 41 seconds apart. Come on now, we need this power play for Toronto. We're able to kill it off. Let's go. Under 5 minutes to go. Come on. Come on, I believe in this team. We need one more victory. One more, and we are going to overtime. Overtime. Right. Let's do it. Let's hit the button. Don't blink. You might miss it. Come on. Can we get the win, please? Toronto with a power play. We were able to kill it off. Come on now. Come on. We need this badly. Boulerice, now's your time. Zeeler, Evans, Pody, Sylvan, Flash, Evans, the Flash, somebody, please. No, we couldn't score on that power play. We're going to double overtime. When it goes this late, it's a guarantee. Case in point, and this will end nearly instantly. It always does. Double overtime in Game 6. Win, and we move on to the Eastern Conference Final. Lose, and it's Game 7 back in Toronto. Now, as far as my prediction here, I'm going to say that it's going to be DeNicola. DeNicola will get the opening goal. The opening goal? The only goal. The game-winning goal. The series-clinching goal. DeNicola, make it happen. Please. This is like the longest double overtime's ever gone, and it's Boulerice. I'll take it. Sam Boulerice. Who said to get rid of him? He's a beast. The poise. He's clutch. And somehow, we are moving on to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time in a long time. It's been long overdue. Long overdue. I meant to check the 3 stars there, but that's okay. We are going back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Suck it, Toronto. I don't care if you have a top line made up of all of our former players. I don't care if you have one of the 18,000 goalies we've had in this series. We're moving on, damn it. Eastern Conference Final. Halfway home, 4 games away, 4 wins away from returning to the Stanley Cup Final, where we might have the chance to end this series in that, picture-perfect way. Can't imagine a better way. Now, I am going to keep the lineup the same, and actually, the Penguins, 49 wins. Let's see what happens here. And by the way, of course, you guys know when I'm recording for YouTube, I often don't mention what's happening in the Twitch chat, even though I see it. Bojo, thank you very much, buddy. And for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, on my channel, when you first go there, there's that little thing where it's like, oh, friends of the channel. If you haven't already gone to his channel by now, say it with me. What's the matter with you? You're a terrible person, and you should have done that already. Granted, I don't have everyone's links there that I'd like to have, but damn it, it's a work in progress. So Bojo, thank you for that. Anyway, game time. Focus. 100% focus and intensity. Eastern Conference Final. We need to take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins roster. Now, the good thing is they don't have Cole Lind anymore. So they have a 98 rated goalie. They have Stan Dundas. Oh my God, no. Oh God, no. Well, we were able to beat the Maple Leafs, after. We had to take a look at their team and remember that, oh yeah, they have a lot of our good old players. So yeah, it's going to be a very similar situation here. Oh, Jesus God. Oh, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. All right, let's do this. Top line, we didn't have him in this series, but Klim Kostin is there, and he has 10 points so far this postseason, 8 goals. Centered by Nico Hischier. Nico. One of the stars of this series. The very first draft pick that we ever made in this series. The face of the franchise for so many years. And he now stands in our way in what could be his last season now that he's 35 years old. Then there's Christopher Burkhoff, another former player of ours. Again, as a second-line forward, stats-wise, he's not bad. He'd be an amazing third-line player. But, yeah, he does have 10 points this postseason. So, second line is Marcel Brodeur. He has 7 points in this postseason, centered by Chad Lundmark, who has 5 points, and Stu Boganiecki. Boganiecki? It might be Boganiecki. Right. Unless it's, no, it's not the same spelling as Borowiecki. But still, you get the point. Stu, I don't like you. Minor leagues going forward. What is he on their second line? Unreal. Third line, Andrew Montador, former 7th overall pick, has 4 points this postseason. Centered by Clifford Donovan, another former player of ours, if I'm not mistaken. I think we had a Donovan, at least, at some point. And Ivan Kovalev, rounds out that third line. The fourth line, Darren Langenbrunner, 7 points this postseason, centered by Victor Marshall and Alexei Kulemin. Again, do we have a better team on paper? Of course we do. This sim engine wipes its ass with your paper and your probabilities. It just doesn't care. So, we'll see what happens, man. Defensively, we're going to lose. We have such a better team on paper. We have such a better team on paper than them. I mean, Holmstrom and Giordano, not terrible. Holmstrom was a +10. Not a terrible, but not like a terrible pairing. It's a great second pairing. Not a very good top pairing. But they'll still rip us apart. Second pairing, Daniel Judry is with Joffrey Rankin. And the third pairing is Dmitry Frolov with Evan Bouchard. Oh, God. Any healthy scratches or injuries? No. They have Daniel Kelly, who I think we had on our team before, and Jesper Boakfist, who is 35 years old. Again, they have Nico, but he's not who I'm worried about. I am quite happy, though. There is an extremely high percentage that Stan Dundas is injured again in this first game. It could happen. That's what we need to happen. If Stan Dundas is injured, and again, he was the first reason why this series continued. We were about to end it, we get a medium franchise goalie. We're about to end it, we get a high franchise goalie in Boyer. We need Dundas to be injured again. Although Bill Stempniak is probably good enough to shut us down. So, yeah. Our hopes really depend on whether or not one of our former players is re-injured. We will hope for the best. Let's do this. We have to sim this too, just to see if he ends up getting pulled out of the game. First period, we don't even have home ice advantage. First period of game 1, the Eastern Conference Final. Let's go. And Kulemin, the fourth liner, gets the opening goal. Great. Just great. Second period, that is better. Zeeler scores on Dundas, so he's still in at this point, which is all right. Not really. I don't want him to still be in, but here we go. We are tied heading into the third period of game 1. Power play for Pittsburgh, and we score. I'm cool with that. Didn't expect it, but I'm cool with it. Sam Bollery strikes again. Another power play opportunity for Pittsburgh here. Are we going to be able to kill it off? Really extended power play. We're able to kill it off, though. 3 minutes to go. Can we hold on for the victory? We can. We can. Can you believe it? The downside is it appears as though Dundas played the full game and wasn't re-injured. But Sam Bollery, Mr. Bollery, has found his scoring touch in this postseason at this point. He gets the overtime series-winning goal against the Maple Leafs, and he gets the GWG in Game 1. By the way, it is Winnipeg and Anaheim in the Western Conference Final. But yeah, Bollery right now, 3 goals, 4 assists. Not terrible. Not terrible. And really quickly, the goaltending. Boyer, of course, a 94. He does have a 927. There was 1 appearance for Frederick Hovland, and it did not go well. So, I feel like we're looking all right. We're doing well. We're going to stick with the in-depth sim because it worked out very well there in Game 1, and we'll see if that continues in Game 2. And also, I want to keep an eye out on whether or not one Stan Dundas gets injured. And my God, Klim Kostin scored 12 seconds into the game. Before I could even pause and set up the right, looking at the right categories, Klim Kostin scored. Right. Okay, well, this is going to be a rough game. First period, though, that's helpful. Simon scores on Dundas, so he is still there. We are outshot 16-7, but we're tied. That's a victory for us, absolutely. Second period is scoreless. We fought back in a big way. on the shot total count. But let's do this, man. Third period, come on. Come on. We've already achieved our goal. We managed to take one game on the road, which is crucial when starting off a series. On the road, you want to be able to take a game and win. I meant to check the who took the penalties in the last game. Doesn't really matter at this point. We have 3 minutes to go. Next goal will win this game, and we are going to have to wait until overtime for that to happen. I forget what point I was trying to make, and that's fine. Let's go. Overtime. Don't blink. You might miss it. I'm calling it again. Castonguay will get the overtime winner. Just you wait. Just you wait. It's going to happen. Well, I mean, Castonguay-Yakupov. That's his full name. You know, like some people have like, oh, my, well, you know, like Nick Deacon Poot. I gotta sneeze again. God damn it, I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna edit that out of this. But for example, you know, Nick Deacon Poot. Yakupov's name is actually Rocky Castonguay-Yakupov. So I was right in a way. You can't disprove me. We take game 2 by the score of 2-1 yet again. And the Red Wings have a 2-0 series lead. Look at Dylan Boyer at the moment outdueling Stan Dundas. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the two franchise-level goalies that we drafted would be battling it out on opposite sides for the chance to go to the Stanley Cup final? Thankfully, at the moment, it appears as though we've picked the right goalie. No pressure, Boyer. No pressure. No, don't worry about it, buddy. It's just that if you fail, we end this series on a really down note, and it'll be all your fault. So no pressure. We're going to jump right into game 3. Let's go. Let's go. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll, I say. First period of game 3 on home ice is scoreless. I'm assuming we're still in the Little Caesars Arena at this point. Could be wrong. Maybe, maybe not. Second period, that is helpful. Castonguay. A little bit later than when I thought he'd score. Dundas, by the way, is going to be in for this entire series. That's a bit of a disaster. However, it's still looking all right at the moment, kind of, maybe. Yeah, swinging Arnold Palmer, maybe, because doing this voice hurts my throat. It's better. Much better. Third period. Let's go. Come on. Hold the fort. Shut it down. Lock it down. Although getting some insurance goals would be nice. And I'm not even saying goal. I'm saying goals. DeNicola, Yakupov, Castonguay, Johnson, anybody. Please, 5 minutes to go. Never mind. Lock it down. Turtle up. Lock it down. 51 seconds. Boyer. 24 save shutout and a 3-0 series lead for the Detroit Red Wings. We are 1 win away. 1 win away from going back to the Stanley Cup final in our last season. We are just going to jump right into it. Obviously, no lineup changes are necessary. Let's do this, man. Come on. 1 win away. 4 opportunities to get the job done. Let's see if we can do it. First period here, of course, on home ice in game 4, and that is not the ideal start. We really can't afford to have Nico Hischier start to wake up. So if you would, just please take a seat and just don't, please. Second period, that is helpful. Lamb with a goal. He's been quiet for a little bit since the early stages of the Toronto series, but he gets a big-time goal there. We are tied heading into the third period. 20 minutes away, potentially, from ending this series. Can we get the job done? Johnson with a massive goal for us. It's probably Johansson because he's Swedish, but whatever. It's fine. He gets the goal on Dundas. We trade power plays. Nobody can score, but Evans gets it. 3-1 lead. Come on. Evans gets that other insurance goal. Zeeler with another insurance goal. And the Detroit Red Wings, in their final season are returning to the Stanley Cup final after sweeping the Pittsburgh Penguins, Nico Hischier and Stan Dundas in the conference final. We are back. It has been a very long time since we have been in the Stanley Cup final, but we are finally back. We have had teams that on paper, again, have just made a mockery of what we have at the moment. And if you haven't watched this series, if you're not familiar with it, there's a lot of episodes, nearly 80. Actually, this might be episode 80, I think. Maybe. It's close. Point being, you have a lot to catch up on. However, we have had some unbelievable teams. But finally, it appears as though we have found the right combination, at the very least, to get back to the Cup final, going for what I believe is Cup number 6. I think it was, God, I don't even remember. It might be number 7. I don't know, man. I confuse it because, again, we've had so much success with both Detroit and Grand Rapids, even though Grand Rapids fell short this year in the first round. We're not going to make any lineup changes. We're not going to take a look at the stats. Nothing else matters aside from the fact that we are back. Is it going to be Anaheim? Is it going to be Winnipeg? Their series is going a little bit later than ours. Let's find out. And it will be the Winnipeg Jets. Jets and Red Wings in the Stanley Cup final. And again, we're going to jump right into it. No magical, let's stop and get the big final episode, Cup final, let's go. Like, no, this is it. I don't care if this episode ends up being an hour plus. This is it. The entire run through the regular season, the first 3 rounds, and now we are here in the Stanley Cup final. What better way to end this series than with a chance? And I honestly can't believe we have made it back, because again, we have fallen short in the early rounds of the playoffs so many times in recent seasons. But I had a good feeling about the way we built this team. We kept the team the same throughout the entire season when we had a chance to potentially get somebody else. We kept the team intact, and it has paid off so far. We are 4 wins away from one final cup and ending this series on the best note possible. Now, as we take a look at the Jets, 96, 93, and 90 for the ratings. I have no idea at this point who is on their team, so this will be interesting for me, at least one way or another, and there are some familiar names. Starting off, he is still there. He has spent his entire career as a Jet. Patrick Laine at 36 years old. He has 17 points this postseason. Centered by former Detroit Red Wings Stuart Pasquale, Tomato. 15 points this postseason. Again, a former number 1 overall pick in 2019. A long, long time ago. The top line right wing is Marcel Demers, 11 points this postseason. Was the 28th overall pick in 2031. So, you look at Demers, he has a hell of a wrist shot, good defensively. Definitely wouldn't, pick him as a playmaker. But interesting stats. Pasquale is still a very well-rounded player. Playmaker's not bad. You could argue two-way. And then, Patrick Laine still appears to be Patrick Laine. The second line, you have Dustin Kennedy, a legit second liner with 6 points this postseason, centered by 37-year-old Dylan Strome, who has 11 points this postseason, and offensively is still very capable. Look at the puck skills and the offensive awareness. 94 offensive awareness. The right wing, again, a former Detroit Red Wing, Rod Roloff, 88 overall. Again, he was one of those guys where it's like he'd be a decent third liner. He doesn't do too much tremendously well, at least statistically or with the attributes. The passing is good. It's the body checking and the strength that really bumps up his rating, which is why we got rid of him. But he does have 11 points this postseason, so maybe that was a mistake. The third line, Peter Eliash, is there. He has 3 points this postseason, centered by Adam Ruzicka, 10 points. And Nikita, I've always struggled with your name. God. Papagayev. We're going with that. Hopefully you don't score too much. 3 points for him this postseason. And then the fourth line, Dylan Maroon, former 10th overall pick, 11 points, despite being on the fourth line, centered by Maurice Delisle, 8 points this postseason, former fourth-round pick. And Ronnie Spooner, 7 points this postseason. So you could argue this is the best, potentially the best offense we've faced. Maybe, maybe not. Tough to say. I'd probably say Toronto, just because of that top line, but still, dangerous. A very dangerous set of players there. Defensively, it's a bit interesting. The top pairing is now 35-year-old Logan Stanley, who is like the ultimate defensive D-man. 99 aggressiveness, body checking, and strength, and is also an incredible skater, so there's that. 2 goals this postseason. He's a +10. Crazy. On that top pairing with Par Peterson, who has 11 points this postseason, and I'm 99% sure he was also a former Red Wing, so there's always that. 91 offensive line is pretty damn good defensively, and a great wrist shot as well for a defenseman. Turned into a decent, you can even have him as an offensive defenseman. The puck control's a bit weak, but you get the point. Second pairing, Rory Okposo. Not too bad of a player. 5 points this postseason with Andre Yemelin, even. Pronounce it how you will. 96 passing. Holy hell. And then the third pairing, Mike Engel, who hasn't done a whole hell of a lot this postseason, is with Ruslan Shirokov, who was a 79 overall, which makes me wonder if they have any injuries or if their defense is just that weak on paper, and it is indeed just that weak on paper. They also have Emmanuel Bucieras, who we did trade to them this season, but thankfully he's not in the lineup. The big question is the goaltending, and from what I remember, their goaltender was the winningest goaltender. The most winningest? That's not proper English. He was the winningest goaltender. I don't even know if that's proper English. I don't care. I really don't. He won the most games this season is what I'm saying. Pascal Labelle. 89 overall. He has a .932 save percentage. This postseason, Vladimir Mironov is the backup. He's a very capable backup. 1 appearance with a .916 save percentage. All right. That is the team. That is... those are the players. That group is our last obstacle. This is it. Rebuilding Hockeytown ends pretty much right after this. Again, I said I'd go through the draft just to see who's there, but this is it. This is our last postseason series. Again, nearly 80 episodes in this series in total, and it comes down to this. Through all the twists and turns with rebuilding Hockeytown, it comes down to this. So let's do it, shall we? Let's do it. And to be honest, somebody else just pointed out that I should probably save, and I will do that, actually. I will do that. That is a damn good call. A bit anticlimactic, but a damn good call. So again, comes down to this. Winnipeg and Detroit. We have home ice advantage. Let's see if we can make the most of it. Game 1 on home ice in the Stanley Cup Final. Let's do this. First period isn't tremendous. Johnson gets the opening goal. Roloff and Maroon end up getting 2 goals on 8 shots, and Winnipeg end up with the 2-1 lead at the end of the opening 20 minutes. Second period, that's also not great, but not the worst. DeNicola, got it back to a 3-2 game. So that's decent, but we need to find a way to get some saves here, Boyer. It might even be Boyer, to be honest. Again, we've never And I don't know, I've had people say... originally I was saying Boyer, and then people were like, no, it's Boyer. Fuck it, who cares, regardless. He just needs to make some saves, that's all I'm asking. 3 goals on 14 shots as we begin the third period. A very early power play for the Jets is thankfully killed off. 5 minutes in. DeNicola, Castonguay, I'll name the entire damn team if I have to. We couldn't score on that power play, though. 8 minutes to go, and Morgan Pody. Big-time goal there. Next goal will win this game. Well, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. Patrick Laine, with 1 minute and 53 seconds to go in regulation, gets the GWG. And the Jets take game 1 by the score of 4-3. Right. No, that's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's cool. We're good. I promise. We're fine. Maybe. God. That was not the ideal start, especially to lose that on home ice. But we still have a long way to go. I don't exactly have that glass half empty approach anymore when it comes to this postseason. Maybe we'll be fine. You know what? We will be fine. We will strike back in game 2. Now, typically, I'd switch back to the calendar simming if we lose, but it's the Stanley Cup final. We have to go with the in-depth sim, for lack of a better term. Game 2, first period. So, Frederick Hovland, you better be warming up, pal, because we need you. We need you. Demir scored 28 seconds in. Zieler got it back fairly quickly. Pascale, and then good old Nikita there. Made it a 3-1 game. We still have time. Keep the faith. We still have time. Second period. That really doesn't help, though. Maroon made it 4-1. DeNicola, again, gets it back to a 4-2 game. We need a ridiculous comeback here in the third period, or we are going to drop both games on home ice to start this cup final, which is an absolute nightmare and would be an absolute disaster. We are over halfway through the third period here. 6 minutes to go. Power play for the Jets. We killed it off, but we are going to run out of time. Zieler scored with 3 seconds left, but it's not enough. The Winnipeg Jets win again, 4-3 in game 2. Zieler was actually the first star of the game because of the 2 goals. However, first stars don't exactly mean too much right now. The Jets take the first 2 games on the road, 4-3 final in both. And we are in a little bit of trouble. I said the perfect way to end this series would, of course, naturally would, of course, be with a Stanley Cup win. But perhaps it would be more fitting for us to lose in this way. Boyer, your save percentage in total is still looking all right, but you just have not had the answer for Winnipeg. We are going with Frederick Hovland in game 3. Hovland loses. We go back to Boyer for games 4, and from that point on, we'll see what happens, and we will look at potentially making some lineup changes here if necessary, which really, it doesn't look all that necessary. I mean, Peverley's an absolute beast, though. It might be worth getting Peverley onto one of these higher-up lines. So let's see, it's, 11 points for Castonguay, 11 for Johnson, and only 9 for Pody. So Pody, despite being a first-line guy, I guess I'm going to drop him down to the third line. I guess that's not exactly ideal in the slightest. But we need to figure something out here. And quickly. So again, 11 points for each of them. I'm not surprised, I guess, that Peverley's putting up that point total. You know what? You might think that God, I don't think I could take Boulderis off the top line, at least. I don't think I can do that. That might be a little bit too much. That might be a little bit too much. But then again, Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. Hold on here. So, DeNicola with 5 points. 6 for Lamb. Alright, so there's really not anybody worth calling up. We could give Yakubov the chance. Who can play center here? Nobody. How about here? Alright, so we could go with Tikhonov. Yeah, we could go with Tikhonov. Beverly's at a 76. Alright, so yeah, we're going to have to leave Bolarese there. Let's move Castonguay to center. We'll have Beverly on the right because who gives a shit? And we will... We'll move down DeNicola. We will go with Poti, Tikhonov, Lamb. And we will keep that the same. Miura, Yakubov, and DeNicola. So some slight changes there. Top line remains the same, though. You could argue maybe it'd be worth changing that over. Top pairing will stay the same there. Second pairing is not the worst. Third pairing is not the worst. It's just the offense that really needs to get going. And again, Havlid is in. I think it's Havlid or Havlid. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Doesn't really matter. We're good. We are good to go. In a must-win Game 3 as we head to Winnipeg. To Winnipeg? As we head to Winnipeg. Can you tell I'm a bit back to the glass half empty approach here? Oh God, Game 3 in Winnipeg. Let's go. This is a must-win game or we are dead in the water. First period of Game 3. Pascale and Maroon from 2 awful angles. Our goaltending is going to fail us in the Cup final. Pascale and Maroon, again, from, 2 scoring chances that really aren't the best. And we're down 2-0. Second period, it's over. Havlid's even worse. He's even worse. I'm just going to hit B. It's over. Yeah. 4-1 loss in Game 3. And all that hope, all that optimism, it's pretty much gone. 12 goals allowed in 3 games between our 2 goaltenders. And either rebuilding Hockey Town is going to end in a very, very poor way, or we are going to end it with one hell of a comeback. And I'm honestly not sure which way it's going to go. We are going to make a slight lineup change, though. We're going to put Sylvan with Moran. We will have Kaminsky with Simon, and then Beach with Bolig. Actually, I'm going to drop Kaminsky down with Beach and have Bolig with Simon. We'll see how well that works out. Honestly, I could put Bolig with Sylvan just to see how he does. But we'll keep that the same. And then offensively, it's not the best to mix and match lines at this point in time. But, yeah, we have to change something again here. So let's change that around. We'll go with Yakubov, Poti, DeNicola. Not that I want to... we need to get... we need to get Beverly back there and have Poti back on the second line. We'll see how that works. I'm probably delaying the inevitable here. But we'll see what happens. What's there to say? I really feel like we have a better team. But it's just not happening for us. Game 4, the Cup is in the building. Will this be... as there was a fight. Frickin'... wow, Dylan Strome fought Rudy Moran. Are you insane? Well, way to go, Moran, for taking that fight immediately. Maybe that'll help get this team focused. Focus we need. First period of Game 4. Will this be the final game in rebuilding Hockey Town history? First period is not bad. Sylvan gets the lone goal. Not too shabby. Second period, can we at least hold on to that lead? We cannot. Maroon has tied this game up. We are basically even in shots. And it will come down to this. Great. Great. Third period, let's do this. Step up or go home. Early power play opportunity, 5-on-3, and we couldn't capitalize. Thankfully, we scored afterwards, though. Zeeler with a huge goal for us just after 5 minutes, 5:04 into the third period. 7 minutes to go. Can we hold on? Please, I'm begging you, at least win one game, and we have. Damn. All right. Well, that was stressful. But at the very least, we can say we are not going to be swept to end this series. Zeeler with the GWG in the third period. And the Red Wings are on the board. Good. At least we won a game. The team will stay the same. I should have calendar simmed after we lost game 1, by the way. I should have calendar simmed. That's why you switch. After every loss, that's why you switch the way that you're simming. Because it works. I swear it works. And I'm not going insane. Game 5. On home ice. Cup's still in the building. Win or stay home and go to the golf course. First period. Goal apiece. Sylvan and the fourth liner, Spooner. Pretty much even shots as well. Dead even first period for these two teams. Second period, we need to grab the lead, and we did, but then we didn't hold on to it. Peverly gets the goal. Ruzicka and Kennedy strike back for the Jets. We are down 3-2 heading into the third period. Oh, God. Comes down to this, man. Let's go. Let's go. Third period. We have to win or the series is over in horrific fashion. Potentially losing in the cup final to Winnipeg. We are down to our final couple of minutes. That'll do it. It's over. Boyer once again with a miserable performance. The Winnipeg Jets are your final Stanley Cup champions for this series. And rebuilding Hockeytown ends in a very, very disappointing way. 5 games is all it took the Jets. And again, Boyer, 5 goals on 31 shots. He fell apart. He started to turn the corner in those first 3 rounds. But then we get to the cup final, and in the cup clinching game, he has an .839 save percentage. Wow. That's it. That is it. This series, unfortunately, at least in that manner, it had to end at some point. It had to end at some point, but I can't help but be disappointed, obviously, no matter how many cups we've won, NHL and AHL level, to lose in the cup final after, making it past the Bruins, who have given us trouble in the past, Toronto especially, Pittsburgh especially, and then we get to play Winnipeg, and we just absolutely blow it in the postseason. In the final. Boyer, I wish I could see his save percentage for just the cup final. He ended up with a .925. That shows how well he did in the first 3 rounds and in game 4. Frederick Hovland had 2 appearances and was absolutely abysmal. No other way to put it. But yeah, I would love to see what Boyer ended up being, or ended up having for a save percentage just in the Winnipeg series alone. I'm sure someone could go calculate that, to be honest. Once this is up on YouTube and you can look it back, you can let me know down in the comments if you're that dedicated. But, yeah. Wow, that's it. Eeli Tolvanen wins the Art Ross yet again. He also won the Hart. The Norris went to Sylvan yet again. No surprise, Lady Byng goes to Tolvanen. Sloan wins the Calder. LaBelle won the Conn Smythe. No surprise, as he also won the Vezina and the Jennings. Logan Stanley won the Masterton Trophy yet again. Brady Tkachuk wins a Selke for the second time in 3 years. And Eeli Tolvanen also won the Ted Lindsay and the Rockets Richard. Down in the AHL, again, neither of our two teams are there listed anymore within the past 5 years. So, quite a drought to end this series. Jockton Cheney, Defenseman of the Year. And that is it. Nobody else that is all that familiar. We just lost in the Stanley Cup final in our very last attempt. That is devastating. Like, really. That is it's such a shame to end the series in that way as you get a look at the lottery. Like I've mentioned, because we expected to end this series on so many different occasions. I've talked about this series a lot, certain things, that we had accomplished, all the players that we've had. So I don't really need to go all out in talking about all of it again. But like I mentioned, the Hall of Fame idea will be happening. And needless to say, there will be some players that were in this series that we will look back on with fondness. I mean, Nick Hague, as I drop my controller, which, just like Boyer dropped the ball, am I right? Scumbag. You got to look at the retired players list as well. But Logan Stanley retired as a Stanley Cup champion. Well, good for you. Oh, man. There will be some players that I'm sure will, like I said, be remembered fondly. But it's finally over. Let's head into our last draft. I just want to see who's available, right? I just want to see, is Owen Tippett retired? Oh, my God. Owen Tippett retired. I would have rather lost to Pittsburgh and had Nico Hischier have a chance to win one more cup. Same with Dundas. Right. There is a goalie in the top 5. There's two goalies in the top 10 as well. 3 goalies in the top 10, but a goalie in the top 5. Maxim Valentenko, the Russian. Wow. Let's see. Will the LA Kings trade the pick? They will. Let's see if I can manage. I mean, again, it's over. And that's the thing. This team will continue to be in a very good spot moving forward, right? I mean, we still have Bure as a goaltender within this system, which is pretty damn crazy. Defensively, Beach, Kaminsky, Moran still have really good potential. Simon's still going to be a strong defenseman, so that's still looking good. And then, of course, the forward core. We're not going to see what Leahy ends up being, what Rupert ends up being at the NHL level. But needless to say, if we were to have continued this series, we would have been set up in a very big way. But I am actually going to use Hovland to make this trade happen, I guess. I mean, they could use the goalie as well. So let's see what other picks I can manage to get out of this, because again, Havlic's unbelievably valuable. But of course, they're going to be a little bit stingy about it. They're going to be very stingy about it. You have to be kidding me. You know what? That's fine. Whatever. I don't care. Who cares? The series is over. I just want to see how good this goalie is with the #1 overall pick. It doesn't matter how good he is. Doesn't matter how good any of these players are. The series is over. But let's see how good Valentenko is. High starter. I just traded Havlin for a high starter goalie. That's incredible. Meanwhile, there was a medium elite Sofilis. Reich isn't that great. Wow, this draft was shit. So Columbus and Colorado. Westcott and Sofilis. Sofilis. Columbus. How good is the player you ended up with? Wow, he's pretty bad. Now might be the right time to end it because this draft was terrible. Sofilis isn't bad. 70 overall at 17 years old. It's actually really good. That is really good. But I think we probably ended up with the best player in this draft with that #1 pick. I mean, we'll take a look. High starter definitely isn't anything to, kind of shrug. And yeah, he's a good goalie. He is. He's a good goaltender. But unfortunately, we will never really see him develop. I want to see where these other goalies go in the top 10. Sergeyev ended up being a medium elite defenseman. Another medium elite defenseman. Low elite offensive D-man. A medium elite goalie. Kozlov. Went to Calgary. Wasn't there another one? Sparks. Medium starter. Let's go take a look at the guy from Calgary here. Because, yeah, I mean, he might be better than our goalie potential-wise, but maybe not trade value-wise. I want to take a look. How good is he? Nope, he's better. I mean, he's a 58, though, at 18 years old. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a bit rough. Anyway, that's it. We made that pick for the hell of it. We'll just sim the entire draft. The day has finally come. The day has finally come where rebuilding Hockeytown has ended. It is over. We managed to go on that miracle run to make it back to the Stanley Cup final, but in the end, we fell just short to the Winnipeg Jets. A very disappointing way to end this series, but what a series this was. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you've watched the series, you remember the players, you remember the championships, which there were a lot of them, even if I kind of cheated for one of them. But you get the point. You get the point. This is a fun series. It was never supposed to go nearly 80 episodes. That is because of you guys supporting the series and enjoying the series, and for that, I thank you very much. Arguably, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was some people's favorite series that I had in NHL 17. We had a lot of good ones, if I can be modest for a minute. We had a lot of really good and fun series this year, and this was absolutely up there. However, I'll say it one more time, with finality. It's over. It is over. So, I don't care if you watched one episode, if you watched all 70 whatever episodes that this ended up being, and actually, you know what, here, let me be responsible and see for sure how many episodes there were. Hold on one second. I hate the new YouTube layout with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. How many? Come on, dude, this YouTube layout sucks. 78! This is episode 78. 78 damn episodes. Again, I don't care if you watched one episode, if you're watching the live stream as I record this, and this is the only episode that you've ever seen, I don't care. I thank you very much for the support on this series, and hopefully, we can find similar success moving forward in NHL 18. So again, that'll do it for this one. Keep an eye out for that whole Hall of Fame voting deal, because there will be some players for sure that will be featured quite heavily in that video. I am quite sure. But again, guys, that will do it. Thank you very much for watching. We lost in the Cup final, though. We lost in the Cup final. Rebuilding Hockeytown is officially over.